What's up guys, it is Eric with Verus Engineering and I am here with a Nissan GT-R, my buddy. New news car. We're going to be putting on some aerodynamic parts that we developed a long time ago. Finally getting around to installing it on his car for him. We have our flat underbody panel. This unit basically reduces drag. It goes on the underside of the GT-R and cleans up that area, which allows basically a reduction in drag to occur. We have two vents right here, which allow engine bay heat to come out. And then we have two NACA ducts on this side to cool the transmission. I'm not sure I would fully recommend this for the road race guys. You would definitely want to keep track on the heat management side of things. A vented hood would potentially help that. This is more geared towards the guys that are looking for drag reduction, half mile, mile, and quarter mile guys that aren't really generating a ton of heat for 20-30 minutes on track. Let's get to the install.
Okay guys, so in addition to the obvious carbon underbody panel that Eric just introduced, we also will be receiving 5 M8 button head cap screws, the M8 Rivet Nut installer tool. Of course, you'll have 4 M8 rivet nuts. You'll have 5 washers for your M8 button head cap screws. And that will be it for the hardware required to install the underbody panel. As for tools needed in order to get the job done, you are going to need a 1/2-inch drill bit to open up the holes for the rivet nuts. Of course, you'll need a drill, 17mm wrench, a ratchet, 3/8, 1/4-inch drive, whatever you like best. You'll need a 10mm socket, and you'll need a 5 and 6mm either Allen keys or Allen sockets. So with all that said, we're gonna go and jump right into the install and knock this guy out. All right, so we're onto the car. Obviously, first step here would be to jack the car up and secure it properly. So first step we're gonna do in order to get the panel on is remove one 10mm bolt. It is the center bolt on the front, I guess you wanna call it, engine cover. It's right here, you'll see it. Take this guy off, 10mm head. Just get this guy out real quick. So that's the first step, small 10mm bolt. Set that aside. Next step is to pull out 4 plugs in the underbody. Basically, you got one here, one here, one here, and one here. You can do this with your hands. If you want, you can also use a pair of pliers to pull it out. Basically, you just pull them out and this is what they look like. So I'm gonna pull the rest of them out real quick and get this guy ready for the rivet nut installation. So now you'll notice that the rivet nuts we supplied actually will not fit in the holes in the body. They are a little bit too big. So that's where the 1/2-inch drill bit's gonna come in. We're gonna step out the holes in the body so that these fit correctly. And then we'll go ahead and install the rivet nuts. Once the rivet nuts are installed, we'll put the panel up and then we're done. Now the holes should have some interference to them so that we can actually tap them in with a hammer so that they're nice and snug. That way when you go to actually use the install tool, the rivet nut isn't walking around on you and you get a nice even crush on the backside. So I'm gonna go ahead and install all of these now and then I'll be back. All right guys, if you're using our rivet nut installer tool, here's a quick rundown on how to use it. Basically, you have the installer itself and you'll have a bolt. Bolt's gonna go through the installer like that. This side is going to be a 6mm hex. This side is going to be a 17mm wrench. Gonna grab your rivet nut, M8 rivet nut in this case, thread it on until it bottoms out. You're gonna insert the rivet nut portion into the hole and you're gonna make sure you hold this entire assembly tight against the body, whatever you're trying to put this into. And you're gonna hold back the black portion with the 17 millimeter wrench, and you're gonna start tightening the bolt itself while holding this back again. And you're gonna do that until you get a pretty significant resistance. Once you're satisfied, you'll just pull this out. This portion here should have been sufficiently crushed, and you can kind of look through this end to make sure. And basically, once you have that, this will be permanently installed. And we're back. We've got our rivet nuts installed. I'm holding a bunch of things in my hand. So our rivet nuts are installed, and we're gonna go ahead and put up the underbody panel. We're gonna start by starting the first bolt, which is going to be the OEM bolt that we took out on the rear of the engine under panel. Got that guy started. And then just to hold the panel up, I like to just pick a rear bolt hole for one of your button head bolts. Grab the 3 other button heads that you have, start them, and we're gonna start all 4 of them first. All right, so we got all 4 button heads started, and we have the OEM 10 millimeter head bolt started as well. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them up, and then we'll be ready for final torque. All right, guys, so once you have all the bolts started, go ahead and tighten them all down. You don't wanna really exceed like 13 foot-pounds. The M8 bolts, being stainless steel, are pretty resilient, but you don't need to really crank on them too much. So once you have them tightened down, you're done with the install. So that being said, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to email us at sales@verus-engineering.com. Until next time, we'll see you later.